They took it away.
And the roads were very icy.
Yeah, they are. Everywhere.
Yeah, it was a clock, right?
No, yeah.
Yeah, but whenever you get there, just try to get there before next,
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hey, Ron.
maybe
We
Wednesday
don't want
night.
to put that time.
Thanks.
I gotta check this up.
We don't have to write this.
Well, I wanna bring it up if
Yeah.
anybody's got questions.
You guys have all that information with the file for Ron?
Yes.
Oh, I wrote down the four prices, that's all I got with me.
Are we ready?
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 We're ready.
Ready, Freddie. How about boss, are you ready? Okay. Good afternoon, all. Welcome to
Glad you can find a seat.
the agenda meeting for February 18, 2025. Please rise and salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America,
and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, justice for all.
Councilman Morton,
Here.
Councilwoman McMahon,
Here.
Councilman Niles.
Here.
Supervisor Molino.
Here. Okay. First thing we got on our agenda is Scott's here from Solar on Earth about some solar power, maybe over our landfill or somewhere in town. So he's gonna give us a little synopsis of what they do. And we can listen. A lot of the towns, why when they sent me this email, why I called well, it was John, but Scott came. Maybe it's time we start looking into some solar on our landfill. A lot of towns are doing it, taking a few dollars or saving a few dollars. So I wanted to give, last time we had this was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And the two gentlemen that were here, I don't know, most of you probably weren't here, it was a very lousy introduction. And when we sat down and figured out all they wanted is it was still going to cost us almost the same amount of money because National Grid went into paying for delivery. And their coverage wasn't for the delivery part.
Interesting.
So we kind of waysided it for a while, but I'm glad you came back. Well, maybe we could do something else. You could sit.
Okay,
talk
I
to the
wasn't sure
mic.
how you guys do this, so
We don't need you standing for us.
I appreciate it. It's a long day.
This is a board meeting. One member's gone.
No problem.
This is the town board and the attorney and the clerk and the zoning enforcement officer and our building supervisor of roads.
Okay. Well, I'll give you a quick overview of what it is. So my name is Scott. I work for Solar on Earth. What we do is we partner with the developers that build the solar farms in New York State and other states. Long story short, there's a couple different things we can look at for option wise. Typically what our company does is we take the solar farms through the NYSERDA Clean Energy Program, the New York Sun Program, and we apply what they call dollar credits to your utility bill, reducing what you owe the utility company every month. What you guys probably talked about, not sure, a couple of years ago, could have been a supply company. What this is about is 7 to 8 years ago, New York State legislation passed their carbon-free go green idea, where they're looking to push 100% green energy by 2050. What happens is the developers build their solar farms. From there, they run them through the NYSERDA program, allowing them to basically get tariffs for every kilowatt they produce off the solar arrays. Until they get directions as to what type of meter classifications to place on solar arrays. I always tell people a solar farm being built tied directly into the utility line gets paid for the power directly from the utility company. But because the state has the program, they're allowed to get what they call dollar credits, tariffs from there. When residents in the town, anything like that, pays their national grid bills, there's an SBC charge on the national grid bill. It comes in the delivery section. The system benefit charge is actually used to fund NYSERDA's clean energy programs through the state. The solar is one of them. Some of the ones that people are familiar with are heat pumps, LED lighting, EV rebates on cars, EV stations, that type of stuff is what comes from that SBC charge. So basically, when you pay your national grid bill, that SBC charge goes to NYSERDA. NYSERDA uses it for the programs that they create But everything in New York State, you know, if you're looking for it, you have to usually apply for it to get it. So what the developers do is they work with, you know, the utility company, in your case, National Grid. People sign up for the program, which again is called the New York Sun program. And what that does is it applies dollar credits directly to your utility bill, reducing what you owe National Grid every single month. The program is free to you. It's no cost. They call it a subscription program. Essentially, what they do is they treat it just like it is your own solar. The difference is you get anywhere from a 5 to 10% credit, depending on what you're approved for, depending on your meters, that type of stuff. That's essentially what Solar on Earth does. I know you had mentioned that you were starting to explore the option of possibly doing something with solar panels. We can also possibly do that. What we would do is we would present it to our developers. The developers would look into certain directions as to, well, can the utility lines handle it? Do you have the 3-phase? Are the substations up to par? Meaning that can they handle the output that it would do? They do their research on them. Any sort of solar farm development typically takes about 5 years altogether from start to finish. Because obviously, I know, right? Typically what happens is obviously there's always that approval. I mean, it's, you know, they do the letter of intent with whoever the landowner is. From there, they basically explore the option as to, can National Grid's lines handle the capacity that's going to be produced? How much can they produce? Going through permitting, doing that kind of stuff. That does take some time. You know, there's depending on other moratoriums in the town, that sort of thing. From there, the building process is basically about 6 months, start to finish, and then it's interconnecting the solar farm to the utility lines. And then, you know, from there, it's National Grid basically approving it, saying, yeah, everything looks good, it's hooked up properly, we can feed it in. So those are options we can look at. The first thing I'd like to talk to you about, obviously, is the solar credits that can be applied directly. Once again, that doesn't involve any cost to the town or anybody in the town. You already fund it to exist. You've been funding NYSERDA for basically since 1997. That SBC charges been on the bill. So you fund a lot of programs that NYSERDA does. This solar program you've been funding for the past 7 or 8 years. It's just nobody's ever really approached you on it. And that's what we do. I've done this program with the town of Warrensburg. You know, Mr. Garrity over there, I went through the whole town board meetings back in 22, got them approved for all their meters. And what it does is it's applying credits directly to their National Grid bill. Same thing for the village of Lake George. They've been doing it. We're in 25. So they've been doing it probably for about 3-4 years too. They've signed up for the program. And all it does is in your miscellaneous section of your bill, they just give you what they call a CDG credit, stands for Community Distributed Generational Subscription Credit. And like I said, that credit can be anywhere from 5 to 10%. I can't give you an exact right now because I don't know all your bills. I don't know which developer would take them, all that good stuff behind them, you know, whether or not your high demand meters, low demand meters, that type of
That's
thing.
just one, it's just this complex here.
Right. So that's without knowing exactly, it's hard to tell you. All I can definitely tell you is that you should be able to do the program. It's just, are they able to give you a 5 or 10% credit, which developer it goes with, that type of stuff? Go ahead.
5 or 10% of what?
Dollar totals. So whatever credits they give you. So basically, let's say, for example, you come out and say, the town of Luzerne actually spends roughly about $10,000 a year in utility cost. You can basically factor in and say, all right, well, I'm going to essentially save anywhere from $500 to $10,000 $500 a year for this program. We're doing nothing different than what you do now. You're just allowing the developers to run place dollar credits directly on your bill. What I always tell, like I said, is a solar farm that doesn't have people signed up for the program is an empty hotel room. Essentially, they're a business just like anything else, and just like a hotel, when the rooms are full, the panels have got meters placed on them. They're able to get the tariffs from there. So that's kind of why they do what they do. It's a little kickback. You don't have to put any panels up. You don't have to change your meters out. You're going to just allow the developers to place dollar credits on your bill for you. And until they'll give you anywhere 5 to 10% credit, depending on what they qualify you for. But that's essentially what it is. It's New York State's community solar program. They take your meters, they place them on their solar arrays, and it doesn't have to be in Luzerne. It could be as far as Canadian border, it could be out towards Buffalo, it could be down towards the New York City area. Wherever it ties directly, basically wherever the solar farm interconnects into National Grid, they can put anybody on that farm. It doesn't have to be just from that community directly. So the program is free to you. You just get a credit on, you don't have to worry about renewing it. Technically, it'll push right out and follow the town up until 2050 when the program decides to end. Or if New York State comes back and says, all right, we're changing our tax credits and we're going to apply it to something else, then you just stop getting credits altogether on your bill.
Sounds easy, but.
Questions? I know I threw a lot out. I know National Grid now. National Grid can't pick solar developers for you. The state wants to keep this a very state program. They don't want it to be where National Grid picks your developer for you. And there are quite a few developers in New York State. Every developer does the same exact thing. One cannot do better than the other. So that being said, if a developer came back and told you got 5% on this one or 10% or whatever it is, one can't offer you 11, another one can't offer you 7. They can't change. It's because it's a state regulated program. Every developer does everything equally when it comes to the dollar credits. So it's not that way. There's no competition. I mean, I can't see it on here, but if you've ever heard of what ESCOs are, supply companies, towns do choose to use them. I have seen them more often than none. That is something completely different than what this is. This is a dollar credit coming off of the credits that they generate for you based on your total consumption of power, your total bill, your cost.
What factors go into determining what the actual percent would be?
It comes down to the meter classifications technically.
Doesn't have anything to do with construction costs or anything?
No, nothing like that. What it comes down to is they look at general information. Page 2 offers a lot of, oh, it's actually on back here. Like you guys are a demand meter. You're not a high demand meter, but the time of use of how your power is typically falls into the largest capacity possible. I'm not sure if it's because National Grid decided not to do a meter read in July, and that's what kind of pushed you up and over, or if you typically average over it. Because what I'm looking at on your bill is this part right here. There's your, your total kilowatts, which are not huge, but it's your time of day is when it seems like you're using your power. That's basically pushing your demand meter over, which is literally that's what's factored in your cost. So that's kind of where it's at. They'd have to look at it.
Which bill is that? Don't we have?
Just-
That's this one here. Yeah.
It's only one.
Yeah, that's this one here. Without looking at your other ones, I have a feeling a lot of your other ones are small commercial class non-demand meters. You may have a few that go over demand. This building just typically uses the power between what they call peak hours, 7 to 10.
I assume we don't have 3-phase here.
No, well, technically your lines out there do.
Yeah, I can see the.
Right, yeah, that's that 3 bells on telephone poles is what it comes down to. So yes, you do, because you have the availability to 3-phase, you do typically get the access to it, even though you aren't in a sense.
Do you have a site in mind?
Just keep in mind, we're not necessarily putting solar panels up with this program. This program, you don't have to put any panels up at all. I know that Mr. Marino had mentioned that, or Marino had mentioned that you guys were potentially looking at solar, and that's something we can discuss with our partners. We've done this in the past when people come to us and say, hey, I've got some property, I'm looking to put something up. We typically can our office can take a quick look and see if it's feasible before we even present it to the developers. And then what we do from there is we present to the developers and say, hey, we got a little, potential project for you. Why don't you take a quick look into it and see if it makes sense? That's just a second option for you. Typically, the option that we're looking at first to get you guys some sort of savings sooner than later would be the community solar program itself.
Hey, Ron, do you have 3-phase power over there, the garage?
I think so.
What's the biggest electrical draw you have?
Probably our welders. They're 220 outlet.
So you're probably like, if you're a demand meter, a really small demand meter, I mean, a typical bill for you is probably about $500, give or take, time of year.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't see.
He doesn't
If
see it.
it's 220, it's probably not 3-phase.
Well, yeah, technically, no, it's once again, the lines are capable of handling it. It's just, you don't have the panel box to do it. Like, you're not having a 3 or 4 or 600 amp box here thing. So it's not going to affect it. Once again, the community solar program doesn't have anything to do with the lines that are out there. That's something completely different. Yes, that's for the whole idea. If you want to put up solar yourself and try to utilize your landfill in the sense. Once again, I'm sure it's how old's the membrane on it, that type. There's always something with the landfills. I know I went through this with the village of Cambridge.
About 30 years.
Okay, because yeah, it comes down to, because obviously these panels, when they put them up, they're looking at them for possibly feasibly being there for at least 40 years. Most initial contracts that the developers do for you is a 25 year first term. And then they do 3 5-year extensions, so they can push out to that's 40, 45 years. And what they do is, this is complete side note. This is just, here's some extra facts and everything like that, besides the community solar program. What the developers do is if they decide they want to lease your property and put, what they call community solar up on your property, what they'll do is they'll work out some sort of lease agreement where they pay you per acre per year, typically is how they do it. It can range. It depends on a lot of factors as to, are they directly tying the substation? Are they tying directly into the 3-phase line, and how far is that tying? Is it 100 feet or is it, 300 yards, that type of stuff? From there, that factors in what they give you. Maybe they give you $500 per acre, maybe they give you $3,000 per acre per year, so it's one of those things. If you had 30 acres and you're getting $1,000 per acre, it could be potentially $30,000 a year of earned income, essentially, because they're just paying you to allow them to place something on that property for X amount of years. They do have increases of usually 1% to 2% every single year on that initial cost that initial fee that they're giving you for leasing. So that is an option. We can definitely look into that kind of stuff too. But once again, I'm here regarding community solar first. Community solar is a program that's free to you, that you're already funding before I even walked in here. Technically, everybody in the town of Luzerne is actually funding this program, even your residencies, because you have that SPC on your bills too. If you want to participate in the program, just like anything else, you fill out a piece of paper that allows you to be qualified by the developers first. And then basically it's National Grid finalizing the approval, meaning that, are your bills paid on time? Are there things behind it? That way they can give you what you need to do on there. Other questions?
I'm having trouble wrapping my hands around
Okay.
it.
So
What are we doing that would make somebody want to give us 5 or 10% off?
okay, you're allowing the developer, the solar developer that builds the farms, to place dollar credits on. So it's essentially saying that, let's say I'm just making numbers up because I don't exactly know the numbers that National, let's say National Grid right now gives the developers 5 cents per kilowatt for every kilowatt they produce. So for every clean energy kilowatt, National Grid pays them. Empty solar farm.
Those developers have nothing to do with us.
Nope. They have nothing to do with you guys. This is a solar farm that's down in Kinderhook, down by Albany. Okay. So they're getting 5 cents per kilowatt. Now, New York State says that solar farm needs to be at 80% capacity of meters, meaning that if that solar farm produces a megawatt of power, they need that megawatt, they need 80% of that megawatt filled with customers and National Grid. Okay. So by doing so, the developers that are our partners, they let us know what they're looking for. And we go into an area and we fill that 80% with the customers are looking for. If they tell us they need resi meters, we do that. If they need commercial meters, they do that. Special projects like, SUNY ACC that does this program, they go on to a special project because of the amount of power they use. They're using megawatts of powers. Their bills are thousands of dollars per bill. So they go on to special projects because usually a solar farm can put 1,000 subscribers on there, 1,000 meters, where somebody with ACC, you're typically about 5 customers, 5, clients in the sense on that one particular farm. So they don't, those type of customers, there's less of those farms in the state because the state wants to appeal more to the mass. So for you guys, it's by signing up for the program, the developers approve you for it. Then they place what they work with National Grid to place what they call dollar credits. So they take, they would take this meter, set it on that Kinderhook farm. And then after they approve this meter, they get tariffs. So their 5 cents they were getting per kilowatt now costs, let's say now gets them 8 cents per kilowatt. But to give you that 5 to 10% off of the credits, let's say it cost them a penny. So essentially they went from going from 5 cents, just by signing you up for the program, they still walked away with an additional 2 cents per kilowatt.
If we did this, does it limit our options for anything, anywheres in the future?
No, this program doesn't interfere with any other NYSERDA programs. I mean, I've worked with quite a few. I
Say
actually,
5 years from now, we want to put up a farm.
you could do so. Net metering credits actually supersede community solar. Yeah, because if you go back, I always tell you, it was probably about 8 to 10 years ago, there was probably somebody knocking on your door at home, asking if you wanted to lease panels, put panels up. That was this, except for it was the state trying to do it individually, offering huge amounts of rebates through NYSERDA tax incentives too, if you remember right. What happened was the state wasn't getting the traction it needed to. It was the people that wanted to put them up didn't have the structures to handle the weight from the solar panels, or you had to change your roof out, or you don't get enough sun. So what the state did is they just mimicked others. So our company's been doing this for 10 years now. We initially started, our company's based out of Acton, Mass, which is over by Boston. So we initially started doing solar, and then we saw the way the states were going, because Massachusetts has been doing community solar for almost 12 years. So what's happened is the New York State said, you know what, they're pretty successful at it. It's essentially, they're taking our taxpayer dollars and they're funding this. It's getting the clean energy into the lines. It's doing exactly what they want to do. It's just easier to do it in a large setting than it is to try to hope everybody can spend their own money to do it. Hopefully that helped the explanation a little more for you. Okay. Anybody else with questions?
Yeah, you've seen a bunch of these, I assume.
Never seen, everybody knows when I say a solar array, correct?
Just me personally. I mean, I'm sure our firm has seen it.
It's okay. It's no big deal. I mean, I always like to ask, because I mean, everybody's seen a solar array, not so much here in the Adirondacks. I live in Argyle. I've got one right in between Argyle and Fort Edward. If you go out by Warren County Airport, there's actually one going right by the airport.
Right now.
Yeah, and then you go out to Gear Road, not even 2 miles away in Hudson Falls, there's one.
There's one over by Warrensburg's sewer plant.
Yes, and that's actually Warrensburg's.
Yeah.
They did that. So Mr. Gary, they did it years ago. That never actually cost them any money. There was a gentleman.
One over by the rec field too.
Yeah, there was a gentleman that lived up north, came down to the village, or the town, I call it a village because technically it is almost. Came down to the town and said, hey, let me put these up over here. It won't cost you anything. We'll just give you some sort of credit. But what happened is I think the guy that put them up just kind of not necessarily disappeared. Just stopped giving credits. I think it just stopped tying in the lines. I don't think it's actually connected anymore to National Grid. Yeah, because that was one of the things we had talked about when I talked to the board members was, he was like, well, we used to have this. It used to be connected and it used to be on, I think it was on their water treatment plant or sewer plant, one of the two. And it wasn't on there anymore. So, they were able to put that meter into the program.
Now they have one going up in Corinth, correct?
Actually, yeah, outskirts, yeah, town of, yeah. Now that you mentioned it, yeah, it's been almost a couple of years since I actually talked to the town supervisor over there about that. But yeah, that's true. They are having one.
I'm seeing them pop them up.
Yes.
They're
And that's what it is. What it initially started out with, if you really go back, you probably saw a lot up like Whitehall. I work with the town and the village on this program. They've had them up over there for some time. A lot of towns had moratoriums up. And what the moratorium was doing was basically prohibiting just somebody popping up in there and getting approval real fast on something. That's why it's taken almost 5 years now to get approvals, because moratoriums. The towns want to participate because they know there's benefits behind it. There's a tax behind it. Your what would be classified as like residential property, agricultural property now goes to a commercial tax rate, which bumps up the tax on that property that the developers have to pay for, not the landowners, but the developers cover that offset. So that's a big revenue for them. So you set the moratorium up initially, you come up with your ideas as to how big you allow a solar farm to go. That way you can, you're not getting a 2,000 acre farm. You only get a 30 because that's what you set as a town ordinance. And then you also set location, be like, all right, it can be somewhere, but it's gotta be point A, B, or C. You pick which one you want, because that's what we're offering you. If you don't want it, go somewhere else. And that's why a lot of what's happening now is a lot of the moratoriums are starting to lift because the towns have actually set the regulations as to where they can be built. So now more and more things are going to be approved. You're going to see things pop up. A lot of these farms, they get built relatively fast. What ends up happening is they sit there for, X amount of time until National Grid approves them. I mean, the state has to approve them. There's a lot of people that have to come out and say, yeah, you know what, go ahead and activate them. Sometimes the utility lines need to be updated, transformers, substations, all those little things. So there's a lot that goes in behind. That's why it takes 5 years sometimes for these things to go live.
So what you're offering us today is the community.
Solar part,
Solar.
yes, correct.
So for us to fill out a form
Mhm.
and submit that will possibly save us some money for us.
It will definitely save you, yes. I mean,
But it's
there-
gotta be approved.
correct, the developers, and to do so, I take your bills, I send them over to my office, and then basically we figure out what developer, and then what I'll do from there is I'll send you an actual agreement, because there's agreements behind them,
Okay.
and then you can look, actually, you can look them over. Trust me, I know, because I work with I work with, municipalities, school districts, and everything like that. So yes, you'll look them over. It was the same thing when I did the town of Warrensburg. Their lawyer is actually a town of Queensbury too. So when I'm presenting to him, he's like, hold on a second. He's like, I know this. He's like, we've been talking about this in Queensbury, because Queensbury actually has a clean energy board or something that actually does a lot of stuff for them. So he's very familiar with it, which made the process a little bit faster, because he didn't have to reread anything. He already knew what was going on.
So what you're saying, let me get.
Please ask away.
Anyone that has a Niagara Mohawk, not Niagara Mohawk. oh,
Don't say 9-0. I'm okay with 9-0. I'm 45. I've been around forever.
Anyone that has National Grid bill is able to do this all.
Yeah. National Grid, I do everything with National Grid via email, pay my bills, all that kind of stuff online. National Grid doesn't send snail mail out to you. They actually send you emails regarding programs. So yeah, National Grid actually tells you to subscribe to these. So what it is National Grid's mandated by the state to put clean energy into the lines. NICEAG is the same thing, RG&E, ComEd, which is down in the city. They're all mandated by the state to get these things up and operational, making sure that they're meeting the state clean energy goal. Honestly, they talk about these community solar farms on the news, 6, 10, 13, Channel 9, or Spectrum, whatever you want, Spectrum 1. They talk about this stuff. It's existing. It's been here. It's just most people don't understand it. And that's kind of where we see this happen a lot. It's like, yeah, it's that simple. You fill out a piece of paper and you get
You
qualified.
get this piece of paper.
Our office provides that type of stuff. So what we've done in the past with villages, towns, all that kind of stuff, cities. Typically what we do is once we get the towns on board, villages, cities, and all that kind of stuff, the municipalities, we can work with you guys to basically create access to maybe your town website where somebody can click onto something and do it.
Mhm.
If they're older, younger, I don't want it generational, but let's say they're not savvy with tech wise and getting online and doing it, they can reach out to us directly and we can set an appointment up and stop out and show somebody in 10, 15 minutes what they need to do. It's that simple. We try to make it as accessible as possible. I know a lot of cities, they send stuff out. They do help out in that. Let's be realistic. It's not in every town's budget to actually be able to send stuff out. But sometimes you have like a flyer that you send out every month to kind of let you know what's going on in town. It's the
Or
same
our
thing.
website, we can send it out through the website.
Correct, yeah. Our office works with you on a lot of stuff like that. We've even done it with some states are really got huge mandates. They're requiring the town to do stuff like this, if not on their own dollar through the community solar. And for them, it's really big just to publicize it on their website. Same thing with, I've met some school districts down near Central Hudson, which is about an hour south of Albany area. They're very big on it. They know they don't have the property and they don't want to really go to the school, go to the people in the school district and say, hey, we're gonna increase your school taxes because we have to do this. Because there's huge mandates. Got to have electric buses, got to do all this other kind of stuff. So
Okay,
we're
so
focused that way.
Say we buy into this and say, okay, well, we'll fill out the form, say 5%. across the board, okay, that's the town. Then we're putting it on our website and getting all of our community
Mhm.
sign up. 5 years from now, we want to get the solar panels up at the dump,
Okay,
okay, or the landfill,
Yeah.
excuse me. And are we gonna lose anything that we would,
no, not at all.
so we'll be double dunking?
So what will happen is you'll just, if the town does it and you put solar up, more than likely you'll get access to that solar farm, meaning that. Well, if you put it up yourself, you'll already have the program. If, let's say you put it up just to cover your own power,
Mhm.
kind of like where, you know, how you put on your home.
Yeah.
If you do that for the town, that's called net metering credit. That's where National Grid charges you a kilowatt, but you produce a clean energy kilowatt. So it's one in, one out, one in, one out.
Mhm.
So you're doing it on your own dollar, where your investment is for the town billings, not necessarily for the community.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's not like it's gonna lower the town taxes, because technically what this does is not a savings for the town. It's actually a way for you to take money from your electric budget and put it into maybe your DPW budget or whatever, you know, maybe ES, fire, and whatever else you guys pay for. That's kind of how towns and schools and all that kind of does it, allows them to rework it. So no, it won't stop you. If you decide you want to put up yourself, it won't remove you from any sort of tax credits and or rebates if you do it yourself. I hope that answered it.
Okay,
But if you do it just because you want to lease the property and you want to make some sort of income for the town on it, and you're not doing it as a individual thing for the town, you can keep the community solar, but at the same point in time, you can be paid from the developers to lease it. And then that solar farm would be tied into the community solar program, which allows not just the town of Lake Luzerne, but maybe Corinth, maybe Albany, anybody that's tied into it. If that makes
You
sense.
lost me on that one.
Okay,
But
So-
my thing, like I say, if we do this, we're talking about the town right now. I mean,
correct.
our buildings, everything,
Yes,
not the public.
correct.
How does the public jump on it, or can they?
So the public can jump onto the community solar program, and what we can do for them is we can actually help. Our office can actually help whoever handles your website create it, so that way there's a link that can help them sign up for it.
So not everybody has to do it.
No, it's all
What's the deal?
optional. It's
Like if the town, we decide to do it for our property,
not everybody has to, correct?
and we put it out to people that want to get involved in it, we can still do that.
Yeah,
They can
people
opt in. We're not making them do it.
They can opt in and opt out whenever they want to. It's not forcing them by any means. I tell people it's the same thing as a STAR program. You have to opt into it. Everything in the state, if you ever want a rebate or a grant or a tax incentive, you have to opt into it.
Now, right now, I can opt in regardless of. what-
Yeah, correct. You can. Yep. Oh, yeah. You can. I've had people opt in anytime.
Yeah, well, we'd put it out that way. I mean, I think maybe, I'm not saying, I'm just talking. If we do it, I should use that word. And then start putting it out on the internet for people to get a hold of you or get information from us, start opting into it.
Yeah.
That's what I
It's-
think we're looking for, something like.
That's what you want. I mean, I've done so many municipalities and everything like that, that I've actually started talking to people about this program, and I've had board members say, I do this at home. And I've said to them, did you ever think that you could do it here? They're like, no. I'm like, but you can.
Mm.
So just because it's the same thing, it's like, you know, we weren't here and I just saw you up as tourists up in town. I said, you guys doing the community solar program? You could sign up. Like I said, just because the town doesn't sign up for it, you guys can still sign up for it. It's there for anybody. If you pay this bill,
Yeah.
you
Right.
can do it.
The thing that bothers me in all the years I've been doing this is to sign the checks. Because if you read that bill, they have a price for the kilowatt and then they have a delivery charge.
Yeah.
Now, we have places like beaches, our not senior center, but our community center for the
Mm.
summer. And we have meters in there, and I get the bill every month, and it's no service, $29 delivery.
Yes.
It bothers
that's
me.
Your meter
Delivery
price.
or nothing.
Yeah, like because you guys are the
I
largest.
realize that's on the bill,
Mhm.
and it really was only maybe 10 years ago that started. If I remember right, because
It's your customer care is what it's actually on here. Like for this place right here, you pay $53. So if you use 0 kilowatts for this building, you're still gonna have like a $54 bill.
Right.
That's your New York State tax and that's your meter cost.
Well, that started with them when, oh, you could buy power from Oklahoma.
And you
And
still
National
can.
Grid got smart and said, well, if you want to buy it there, we're charging you the delivery charge.
And that's, yes, New York State is just one of the many states across the country they called it deregulating. National Grid doesn't produce power. They buy power on the open market, just like everybody else. That's kind of like, so when I teach people this stuff, a merchant function that you see in your supply part of this is just National Grid charging you for them kind of shopping for the power. And there's a definition page that comes with this that tells you what everything on here means. Your ESRM, what it is National Grid says, all right, the town of Luzerne, this building right here, we think they're going to do about 5,000 kilowatts. So when they go to the market and they shop, at the beginning of February and they buy 5,000 kilowatts on February 1st, then you get your bill at the end of February and you've used 5,500, your ESRM is going to be a positive number because you used 500 more kilowatts than they had anticipated. But if you use 4,500, they give you a minus sign because they give you credit back for the 500 kilowatts you didn't use. So that's how that is. And that's why I say, like, if you look right here in your delivery, that SBC charge, and then you go to your definition page, your system benefit charge tells you it funds the clean energy programs in the state. And this is one of them. So when I say you pay for these solar farms to exist, even though you don't have the credits, you're paying for that. No, actually, I'm sure the town's used a lot of nice sort of programs, probably never even thought about it over the, 20 some odd years they've been going. I don't know. NYSERDA's been around forever.
I just have one more question for
Yeah.
you. For someone that already has solar panels on their property,
Go ahead.
okay, are they able to?
No, the state will not allow you what they call double dip. Yes, unfortunately, because you spent your own money and
Yeah.
technically the money that the developers get for this program,
Mhm.
you got the same exact thing. So when you put them on home, you got a rebate from NYSERDA. And then you got a tax rebate, which your accountant probably spread that out over 5 or 10 years. Sometimes is how they do it. Yeah, when you put them on your own home, you're getting exactly basically what the developers get.
Mhm.
But you're doing on your own dollar.
What to think of. Thank you. I mean, we thank you.
I appreciate your time and everything like that.
Come a long way to come here.
I live in Argyle.
Okay, that's,
Graduated Queensbury. I've been here all my life. It is what it, like I said, I moved on Lake George during the summertime. It's like.
sounds interesting. As long as, what we're looking for, I think we all are, is not to put out any more money. We
Right,
can pick this up and everybody can save 5%. It sounds good,
right.
but
And that's the thing is what I would like is obviously, and it doesn't have to be right this moment, obviously, you got a board meeting you still have to do. Over the next couple of days, I'm gonna leave you my business card. If somebody could actually email me the bills that you have with National Grid, I'll have my office take a look at them and see, and then when I get back to you, I can actually give you the actual information I can do stuff with and what it's about.
that could be done easy.
Other than that, like I said, I appreciate your time. If anybody has any questions, I mean, I obviously, I'll
Anybody
leave
on
my
this
card.
side have any questions?
It's okay if you don't have any right now. You'll get some later on. I guarantee it. Everybody does.
All right, well,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Let me,
Just leave us the stuff that you're gonna leave us.
my business card. Put it in the middle, put in there. Phone number, emails on there, and then I will, follow up with everybody later on down the road. But if you give me the bills, I'll be able to tell you exactly what the, solar program can do for you.
Yeah,
okay?
it'll take about 15-20 minutes to get them out of the file tomorrow. So,
No worries, anytime. I'm gonna leave this here.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's just as expensive, probably.
yeah, well, even 5% is a big savings to everybody, people and the town itself.
And I tell you, literally, so $500,000, let's say a year. Next year, you see the cost of everything going up. Let's be realistic, this has not dropped in 5 years. Or 6 years or 10 years, this is continuously going up. If you factor it in, it's 500,000 right now, maybe a month or every year. Next year it could be 550 or 1,050. I don't know what you guys spend a year. But that seems to be the thing, costs are going up. So it's never going down. I'll tell
Well,
you
it
right now,
really went up in the last 3 months.
National Grid just went to the Public Service Commission last year, I believe, asking for a 15% rate increase on these type of meters. If you had gas on here, it'd be a 20% increase. Public Service Commission will negotiate with them. They're not gonna just, okay, Dasher comes back, I want 50% increase. No, they're gonna negotiate. But even if it's a 5% increase or a 7 or 8% increase, it's still an increase. And that happens usually every couple of years, because that delivery is what pays for those lines to stay up and running. The supply, it's whatever's going on out there in the world, that's how that costs. And same thing as the gas pumps. Summertime's one price, wintertime's another. That's why the prices go up and down. It's the same thing with grid. But yeah, I will follow up with you. I appreciate everybody's time. Stay warm.
All right, thank you,
Thanks.
Scott.
Take care.
Appreciate it. All right, the second one is the senior center housing. I talked to them. They're not quite ready yet. They needed some more information like acreage. And Mary kind of convinced me we can't give them the land. We have to put it out of bid. So that kind of, he stopped talking when I said that. But we're gonna still try to get a flat thing.
Mhm.
Right now, he was talking, don't hold me exactly, but it was too high. It was about $1,300 a month on this 8-unit building. So we were looking to stay in the 11 or 12 for the seniors, so adding on the property is another thing. So we're still working on it, but I'm not dropping it right now until we get a bottom line flat idea of what it would, their costs are gonna be and what they're gonna make. So Ron, oh wait, well, we didn't put it on here. Ron, about your tile. Do you want to say anything about it? It was a little confusing, some of these.
You guys put it on hold, which I wasn't here, that's fine. I heard that someone had some questions on it. The price difference. And I'm thinking that price difference is because these other contractors, Hoffman, Ryan's Epoxy and JRE, they're big time, they're big guys. And the custom create or decorative flooring concrete guy, the cheapest guy, he is a guy that worked with Hoffman. It's actually his cousin. He'd learned the business and he went out on his own. What do you want to go with? I would like to go with him only because he's
Hoffman you're talking about?
no. So he's the cheapest one. The custom decorative concrete, he's the cheapest. That's an easy decision, isn't it? It's because he has no overhead right now. He's only got himself and he grabs his father-in-law to help. He's been doing it for 3-4 years now. He's got Facebook, he's got pictures on there and everything, so. And he's in Corinth, he's local, so.
All right, so you got a 7,009, you got a 11,006.
11, 6, 7,
And
8,
895,
8, 1 and
195.
I would like to, just vote on it and then get a date in the window.
All right, so what do you think, Ron? We gotta leave this to you and, I don't know much about it and I think none of
Just
us,
said he wants to go with the cheapest one.
the cheapest one,
Yeah.
the 7.9,
6,444.
where's that one?
Yeah. It's an epoxy floor. There's a 1-year warranty with it too, so.
Oh, it is a 6,000, I didn't see that one, I'm sorry. Well, that's up to you, Ron.
Yeah. You guys want to move on it now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I make a motion, we authorize the supervisor to enter into a contract with custom.
Oh, custom,
concrete,
yeah, okay.
the amount of 6,444 for the tile at the highway garage.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Custom,
Custom decorative concrete. I got one more. Do you want me? to keep going? Is it gonna hurt? These uniforms are just terrible. None of the guys wear them. They don't fit right at all. They're always complaining about them and everything. I would like to revisit on giving the guys money to get their own clothes. They can buy shoes, they can buy pants, they can buy shirts and gloves. Colleen printed me out. Last year I paid $7,400 on the uniforms. That year. We got 10 of us. We give them each 600. And it's by receipt. It's reimbursement. That way we keep everyone honest. We give them 600 the first year and I'd still be saving $1,500.
And they'll be taking care of the cleaning and everything. That's basically the way.
Yeah, they would clean, take them home and clean them themselves and everything. And then maybe next year, once they get settled in, they got everything, we can go down to 500 the following year. But it's all gonna be reimbursement by receipt. So I would,
And you'll be in charge of what they get. Basically, I mean, you'll have a standard of what you want them to have.
yeah, I mean, you can't go buy some stupid stuff but the basics, pants or boots, jackets, all the basic essentials.
This $7,400 number that you spent last year for uniforms, does that include footwear as well? Or is that just?
No, we don't
No,
we don't pay them for their footwear.
Okay,
It's an option that they can go get
So they can
Yeah.
pretty much do what they want with the 600 is
with receipt.
with receipts.
Yeah.
But they gotta buy uniforms. They gotta buy the equipment they need.
Certain
It's not optional.
That's the thing, we're not gonna match, but we don't match now. They don't wear them. Some guys might wear pants one day, the next day they put a different pair on, it don't fit. And every time that you wanna change the pant size and everything, it's an extra charge. I just paid a bill today, over 1,100 on uniform crap. So it's just, I just think it would be a lot easier, just give me a receipt and I'll put a voucher in and.
So they won't really be uniforms, they'll just be work clothes.
Yes, yeah,
And none of them look like uniforms anyway.
we don't wear them now, so.
I don't have any problem with that. I do think we should set some sort of standard on
Yeah.
what,
Yeah.
what it's allowed to be.
Yeah, you don't want
done.
people coming out with red shirts and stuff.
Right. Yeah, and in the summertime, the town gives them the orange shirts and most of the guys do wear those, so.
I have no problem with
I
that.
have no problem with that.
Can you come up with a standard that we can approve? Whether that be color or, it can only be spent on footwear and
Yeah.
just so that you're not running
Yeah.
into issues down the road.
Yeah, I'll sit with Colleen and we'll make a little list on.
Okay.
On what we should and shouldn't, yeah,
Okay.
We'll have that for the next meeting,
sure.
couple of days before.
They can actually get the coat, the pants, the shirts, the boots for the $600. I mean,
Yeah, some guys just went to Tractor Supply and they were paying like there's pants for $12, so. And the boots. They have boots now, so they might not want to get boots, so.
Yeah.
All right, Ron, just have that for us next 2 weeks from now.
Thank you.
All right, wasn't kind of next, Karen, I'm sorry. I just-
Two small, during March 4th, at 7 p.m. regarding the alternate position on the planning and zoning board, just setting this, what it is they will do when they serve. And then, I did put on the website that we had an opening for the alternate on the planning board. We got one, reply to that, cutoff was yesterday. So if you would like, we'll contact this one, it's Mary Ellen Allison, she had put in an application the last time and then withdrew it. So, because she felt that Pam had already served on the board, she stepped aside so that Pam could serve. So Mary Ellen is interested again, we would bring her in to the board meeting, you could interview her before the meeting if you would like.
Do we need to interview Mary Ellen?
No, I don't think so.
Everybody's shaking their head, no, we don't need to interview her.
All right,
Everybody's shaking their head, no, we don't need to interview her.
All right,
So do you want to do a resolution of town board?
We'll all agree with that. Okay, yeah. I apologize. March 4th, what is that meeting for? Is that for the wood project?
The alternate position.
Oh, okay.
It's just to set it when they serve, if someone is absent and the number of alternates that we have, et cetera.
When is your next planning board meeting?
The 26th.
This month. So if we do that today, they would be already,
Yeah, I have to get books and stuff made, but yes.
I make that motion.
I'll second
We're
it.
gonna do it now.
Might as well, yeah.
get it done.
Right, we might as well do it.
Yeah,
Wait 2 more
absolutely.
weeks.
Jim, and who seconded it?
Jane,
All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Hearing none carried. As an alternate, right?
Alternate.
Say to make sure.
That's all I have.
All right, got it. Proposals, pay the bills.
Proposed resolution to pay the bills of the fourth abstract of 2025 as presented, general fund vouchers 4556 to 4571, $8,547.70. SW1 Water District voucher 4572 for $105. And SW2 Water District voucher 4573 for $35.
I make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried.
All right, it's a discussion, these are from March 4th, that we already did all that. Oh, I'm sorry. Your name's not on here.
I sent everyone a proposed element for the Hayes split litigation, so everyone can look over that, but for the next meeting, we can go into
Just
some
had that.
sort of determination on that. If you want to talk about it, I would suggest we go into executive session.
Okay.
And then I just need to know who is going to be present with me on Thursday for the meeting with the Open Space Institute.
Hmm.
It's
it's
Thursday.
at 10 o'clock.
What time is that? I can probably make that.
Let me just look real quick. Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you.
I was just gonna be out of town.
Somebody has to back out, I can do it too.
Well, if there's
Where is
three of
that?
you, we have to
I know.
advertise a meeting.
If somebody has to back out, I can do
Okay.
it.
Where is it?
You here.
Here?
You said 10 o'clock?
That's gonna be with the folk school people too, or just him, right?
Just
Oh, base, okay.
That's to work on. Being able to sell it, sort of.
all the decision makers in their organization met last week. And they want to talk to us about that
Okay.
meeting,
Good.
but I don't know what they're going to say.
So they're not gonna be here, just them. Folk school, I mean.
No. It's just gonna be Charlie and Charlie's attorney.
Okay. All right, anybody else?
I got one thing. Are we down to setting up the agenda yet?
We are.
I'd like to get a resolution on there to, I'm not quite sure how we want to do it, but to pay the Lake Association for the stuff they're gonna do this year.
They gotta send us a bill.
I have the breakdown in a little
I got
more detail. that I can give you, you can put it in the resolution if you want, maybe.
Didn't you do an agreement?
I
that
think we did
allowed
an
for that
agreement.
last year?
What's that? Well, we do, because we do give them money at out tax. There was a couple of things on that one they gave me
Or was that
a couple of weeks ago that were under out tax.
that one?
Okay. Here's the whole list. I can email that to you, Lori, if you want it.
Okay.
This is a breakdown of what they told us 2 weeks ago.
Is it- They wanted to be reimbursed.
Well, there's
for
something,
class.
you know, I just don't know.
Here's what you saw 2 weeks ago.
There's something on it.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a breakdown of that. More detail.
Okay. The high school,
Education.
story time, we can't support that. That doesn't bring tourists into the area.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh, but it could be covered under the county Eurasian milfoil
not,
project.
no, you're stretching that.
If you teach people not to bring milfoil into the lake,
Yeah, but this says library story time, that time. It's not gonna bring a tourist in here.
oh, I agree. But it might teach somebody to not bring milfoil into the lake.
Story time?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll discuss it.
Okay. And I do have one other thing, if you want, I got a brief email report from our new water system operator.
I'd like to be on these reports. It's stuff, when you get them, we don't read them beforehand, you know?
Yeah. Well,
I'd like to get the board on every one of
He
these.
sent me this at 1:30. I got it at 3:15.
Well,
So I'm gonna read it to
yeah,
you.
go ahead, that's fine.
Steve and I discussed the schedule at the water plant. Steve will perform daily operations and sampling on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Fridays. Steve will meet with me on Thursdays and Saturday mornings to continue training. Logan will do the sampling on Wednesdays. This is from Clay Lawback. Okay. I'll perform daily ops, bacteria sampling, administrative duties on Thursdays. I will also sample on Saturdays and Sundays. I spoke in length with Mark Rogers. Mark has done work on our system in the past. He's performed services in the past, is looking forward to working with us in the future as needed. I spoke with Dan McElrath, PE Department of Health. I wanted to follow up with a new changeover of chief operators for Luzerne. I assured him we continued our daily procedures without a hiccup. I made him aware that Logan has completed his 2B coursework through W2O and does have the experience to obtain his certification. Under Dan's advice, I would need to work with Logan for about a month and then submit his application to the Department of Health. Our next step is to get Steve in for his coursework, work with him in the same capacity, and I would vouch for his time and aptitude as well. I also spoke with Queensbury Lab and JH Consulting. I believe that's where we send our samples. I wanted to verify our sampling requirements and update our contact information. I hope this is helpful. Anything else I can do, let me know.
The only thing that came up today, Colleen mentioned something and kind of went over my head. I thought we was, this is for a B license, right?
2B.
2B. Because we had it down that Steve was supposed to go
C.
for a C.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Well, C is a backup guy.
Yeah, so that's not what we sent him. We were gonna send him to the class
Right,
for that,
right.
according to
I'd
Jeff.
like to see both guys get 2Bs.
Yeah,
Why not?
yeah,
That's what Clay and I've been talking about.
but that's the point I'm trying to make. Jeff said they had to go for a C, and that's what we set him up for, a C course. And he didn't go because he had
So if
COVID.
those two guys had Cs, we'd still need a 2B.
Yeah, all right, so this is working out. Good job.
Yeah, I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, this guy will do a good
Dave's
job.
gonna see if he can contact our former operator and get passwords for the computers.
Who's gonna do that?
Dane's gonna give it a shot. Because last Friday, Dane had a much more civil conversation with our former operator than I did. I'll leave it at that.
And I didn't return the call to get to me, so. All right, but it went off well. You did a good job. Team did a good job. I think we're right on the right track now.
I mean, it's real early to say, but this is the first time I've ever seen a report from our operator. He's been with us for less than a week.
Jim, on that note, Logan, we need keys down there.
Yeah,
So we're not jumping back and forth with Steve. The keys they got, it says you can't copy them. I'm not sure if that's true or not.
There's certain,
if somebody gives me those two keys, I'll get them copied.
There's
Okay.
certain locksmiths that will do it for towns
Yeah.
when they need.
I mean,
There's one in South.
Right
I
now,
think there's
you
one in
still have,
South Glens Falls.
you still have 2 keys?
Only got one. I got the key to the main.
I don't have them to take them to get copy. I know I can get them copy.
All right.
What's the other key?
I'd say we change the lock down there.
There's 2 keys,
No,
so they're
I-
pairs.
There's too many.
Huh?
That key
Steve
fits
has
that
one,
lock,
Clay has one set.
the gate over here.
No, just to the coronation room,
That's the key I'm talking about.
just to the building.
That key opens the gate going up to the tower.
And it opens the gate over to the wells.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
That opens
All right.
double locks.
Well, if you can get a copy, we'll try it.
I know I can.
Okay, and I can give you my key if you want. But I got Spectrum bothering me the other day to open the gate so they can get up there. So there's something on the tower. He's gotta go. I gotta have it open 10 o'clock Friday.
But I need the keys to get them copied. Obviously, the one, anybody can do it, but I'd be happy to. I'm
I'll give
thinking
you-
I probably ought to get 3 sets made.
I'll give you my key.
Now, changing the locks, that's a whole nother issue. I
Yeah.
think we should do that soon.
Well,
Well,
One of the doors is falling.
I would say down the road we should, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
a short run.
all right, I can give you my key. Let me
I
take
need
it.
both of them.
I only
Is
have,
yours the do not duplicate one?
yeah,
Okay, well, give me that. I'll get those made. The other one, we could probably get the partners.
right. And I need it, because Spectrum calls me at 7 a.m. They want to get up there.
Okay.
Let me call my friend, the locksmith, and make sure he can do it, and then I'll come get it.
I'll give it to you.
Sure.
All right.
I'm done.
Anything else?
I got something.
You want to go executive session, did you say?
Dane has something.
Only if you want to. We can also do it at the meeting. It's up to you guys.
For what now?
That is lit, so.
Oh.
Yeah, I kind of figure if I read it first, I'll have more questions. I mean, I took a quick.
So you're gonna need executive session.
When did you send that out, right? Oh,
Just got it.
oh, okay. I was gonna say, I just checked my email. I didn't see it.
Just got it.
You have a copy of it?
I left 10 minutes.
You got a copy of it? All right, you need this? Okay, this one saves me from printing all this stuff out.
All right, so if I'd sent you this, you wouldn't have time to look at it.
Now?
Well,
When you
my
send it to
mom-
me?
Jane had something.
I'm done tonight.
So last week, Warren County, planning invited me to, listen in on a call about the recreation assessment that they did for the county. And I just wanted to say that the project that we had discussed up on, Reservoir Road was one of 6 projects that they specifically mentioned in the plan that the county was pretty excited about and looking forward to exploring. So I thought that was kind of cool. It was, the plan looks really good. It looks like they're finally gonna get some stuff done within the county. So I'm excited about it. A lot of good projects going on. And that's all.
And I know you already answered this, but just so the board knows, the fellow that you had looking at our project, he's expected soon to, once the snow.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the snow. Snow came early this year, so he was working on a different project, and then when the snow came in, he got kind of
We
delayed.
didn't do anything yet. That's all.
Yeah, he's been doing like the behind the scenes sort of stuff, but in terms of the actual site specific assessment on the ground, he hasn't been able to do yet, so that'll be a spring job.
The fundraiser's going along. That's a good job.
Yeah, we're up to about 180. We probably ought to shoot for 210 or 215 because our price on the playground equipment's a year and a half old.
Mhm.
But it's coming. We got some good prospects coming up in the next 4 weeks.
All right, anybody got anything else?
Yeah, where do we stand with Mike from the IT department? Are we all,
He's been in here working, yep.
you still working on that or?
I have a new drive on my computer.
Yes, some of the computers needed new hard drives. And he's set us all up on our new .gov emails. They've been doing some.
Will the old address still work?
Pardon me?
Yes.
It will,
Okay.
yeah, and it'll go right into, it'll transfer over. And they've been doing some more wiring stuff and everything. So, yeah, things are moving along.
And we got them coming back. I think Colleen called them today to go check the water.
Yeah.
Building there.
Just in case we can't get the passwords.
Yeah, because we didn't get the passwords for the computer. Let's see if he can get into it. I don't even know what's on that computer, truthfully.
Yeah, so he's in and out working on stuff all the time.
It comes.
They were here like 2.5 days last week.
Mhm.
Now, is he setting us up with emails?
We probably could do that. Do you
Okay.
guys? Probably not a bad idea.
I think that would be,
Should.
Okay,
yeah, I think that
so,
would be a good idea.
so what I would
Add it
need
to
is
personal.
whatever
Yeah,
you want
yeah.
it to be. Cause it'll be whatever you say at lakeluzerneny.gov. So try not to make it too
Yeah.
big. And I'll also need cell phone numbers in case you have to put a authentic.
The dual.
Okay, yeah.
authorization.
If you have to put a code in, it'll get sent to your, as a text. Okay, so that'll also need. But yeah, if you want to think on that, then I can, what you want it to be, then I can, because
Makes
James
sense
is
to
now
me.
Wanna have a quick,
supervisor at
session on this?
lakeluzernny.com.
Well, I'd like you to explain it, because we got a lot of money
So
tied
sure.
up in this thing
I don't see
already.
any problem with that,
We're all in
that I
agreement.
know of.
We're all in agreement that we ought to do that.
Well, it's much more secure, and when we went to conference, last May, it was, they were really pushing it that everybody. Including, I think, the council. I mean, I can double check on that, but
And I've got a file of what tech on my computer.
yeah, I mean, at least everybody would be the same that way.
Yeah.
You know, and it's supposedly more secure.
And then they could be posted on,
We could
The
put it
website.
all on the website, yes. Yep. So if you just wanna figure out what you want and email me, then I can send it to him.
we should probably be as uniform as possible.
Yes,
Councilman last name
yep,
or councilwoman last name.
Yeah.
It's fine with me.
okay.
I want to go on a quick executive session to let Mary discuss what's gonna happen. I hope this is the last. With the Hazlets.
So you're gonna do that now?
I don't know if I haven't had a chance to read it yet.
Well, she can explain it.
Okay, it's fine with me.
Another one.
Okay, so motion to move to executive session was made by,
Jean.
A second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
Hold on.
I'm just telling Lori to stay.
And to adjourn. Are we ready to adjourn our meeting or are we going back into session?
No, there will be nothing at the session, after the session.
And adjourn with no decisions being made.
Was there anybody on there today? No. Okay.
Okay, you're good.